Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first live broadcast of the week. My name is Matt Hall, business and life strategist, and I'm joined by Helen Hill, our Success School community manager. Really excited for this one today. Before we dive in, Helen, how are you? Are you good?
I am really good, thank you. It's been a fast Monday today. It's gone quick.
Gone too fast. I literally was saying to you earlier, and I was also saying to my friend Ross, I was like, can anybody make time go a little bit slower, please? This life is going by too quick. So that's probably why I'm talking double speed. No, you've not put me on ×2 on WhatsApp voice note. This is the way that I'm speaking today. Let me know who is here. Please type in the comments who is here. How are you feeling? How is your Monday going? What are you up to today? Please do give us some engagement. We're going to go through how to start your side hustle, but I've got some tips based on the years of me doing various businesses, coaching different people on businesses. One thing I really want to encourage guys on this live is please do ask us questions, because I know this is a topic for a lot of people where you just feel like it's so confusing, it's so overwhelming, there's a lot of self-doubt. Could I make money out of that? I'm not sure. Would people pay this? How much should I charge? So please, in order for everybody to get the most out of this live session that we're doing here, streaming across social media, please do not at all feel scared to ask you questions. I'm sure that in answering your question, not only is it going to give you some things to consider, but I'm sure there'll be other people who'll be like, I'm so glad you asked that question, because that's something I'm struggling with as well. So do let us know who is here. Have you got any questions for us? Like I say, I'm going to dive into some content based on the years of me, sort of my experiences with business and so on. And I just want to kind of touch upon that really briefly to give the context here, because for me, I started my first company when I was 19. A lot of you already know that. Thanks for those that have been here from the very beginning. And I didn't set out to be a business owner. I would say I was just a performer, a bit of an actor. And I was just kind of like, I saw an opportunity and I ran with it. Before I knew it, I had a business, I had staff, I had an office, we had lots of bills to pay. And it was very much learning as I go. And what I learned over the years is a more traditional kind of business. It's really tough. And I've still got that business. It's still surviving and it's still going today. We've still got an incredible team. But then I started to learn about making money online and how much easier in comparison an online business is to like the more kind of traditional type of business models. Now, I'm going to be speaking more predominantly about utilizing online today, because I just think it's a much easier, more scalable model for most of us. And my big passion here is not just talking to people who are already super successful in business. It's about trying to empower and educate and encourage as many normal people like me that are maybe a bit daft and a bit silly and not necessarily destined for millions and millions, just start to have a little bit more control over your life and to be able to make money a bit more on your terms, if that is something you are interested in. So I'm going to dive into that in just a second. But before we do, please do get some comments in. Have you any questions? Let us know who is here. How are you doing? Any questions over there, Helen?
So we've no questions yet, but we've had a few comments. People are saying hi. We've got Laura Guy. We've got Kelly Boys, who's saying she's out of a comfort zone because it doesn't really relate to her work life yet. Kelly, yet. We've got Dominic Ryan, Sarah Carter. So we've got loads and loads of people. Vicky Borrell. Got loads of people coming in saying hi, but no questions as yet.
Thank you so much for being here. I've got a few on Instagram. I'm just going to shout out now. I can see Tracy's there. I can see Asta. How are you doing? My man says feeling unmotivated. Let's work on that, Asta. Kelly is saying hello. Matty and Helen. We've got Gary. Hey, Gary. Tortos or the hair. I'm not sure who that is, but it says, hey, had better Mondays, had worse Mondays. Hope you're both well. Let us know who that is. Sorry, I always like to give people their proper name, but I'm not sure who Tortos or the hair is, but I like it. Addy is here. Addy, how are you doing? Eleanor says, very well, thank you. Good. See, Carol says, hi, guys. Okay, so let's dive straight in. Let's talk about side hustles. First thing I would love to know, please do let me know in the comments. Do you already have a side hustle? Are you already a business owner? Are you currently in employment? Just give me a little bit of engagement, a little bit of feedback, so know who I'm talking to here. Please do let me know, just so that we can get a bit of a general idea. One thing I dug up on social, not on social media, on Google, is I was reading a couple of different articles just to get some up-to-date information. And there was an article saying that currently, and this was as of January 2024, so earlier this year, it suggested that around 2 in 5 Brits now top up their income from having some kind of side hustle. However, most of which are not making a lot of money out of that. So I think there's two things to take from that. The first thing is this has become a really common thing, right? This used to be like side hustle, oh, that's just for businessy people. 2 out of 5 people, guys, are no longer just relying on one source of income. They have some kind of external additional way of making money. But then the second part is a lot of people are not making a lot of money out of a side hustle. And I want to talk about how we can build a sustainable side hustle that may just become one of your main ways of earning income, should you want it to be. And the thing that I'm just going to start by saying, you can tell I'm passionate about this. It's one of my favorite subjects when we talk in business and online business. I just love it. I'm passionate about it. I have been for many, many years. As I've just said, I started my first business when I was around 19. One of the first things I've said for years and years and years, I've said this 5 years ago, 8 years ago, and I'm still saying it now. There has never been an easier time to make money online. And I really stand by that. I don't care what you're seeing about everything that's struggling in the world. There's always been challenges. There's always good times, bad times. There's never been an easier time. But right now, as I say it, I actually believe there's never been an easier time than now. Like I've been saying the now for years. But with like ChatGPT, with AI, it literally, you don't even have to do hardly anything anymore. And I think this is a really important thing. This is why I'm really passionate about empowering and educating as many people on this subject as possible. Because I think there is still a predominantly older generation that are ill-informed, misinformed, that think that when we talk about business and making money online, they think it's too risky, it's too much of hard work. You know, if I was to say you can make 10, 20, 30, 40,000 pounds per month, naturally that's met with cynicism, skepticism, and people saying that's a scam, definitely a scam, for two reasons. Number one, because it wasn't possible 10, 15 years ago. And number two, because there are scammers out there, right? Let's do our due diligence. Be careful. There is absolutely nonsense out there. And that is a really valid thing to be aware of. But it is more possible than ever to genuinely bring in an extra grand or 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe 5 consistently per month if you understand this stuff, if you get good at this stuff, and if you consistently work at this stuff. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. When we talk about side hustles, I reflect on my work as a coach and the content I put out and the feedback I get and the people I work with in my one-to-one and the people I work with in my groups. 2 of the most common goals I hear time and time and time again is people want more money and they want more time freedom. Let me know. Just put a 1 in the chat now. Just put a 1, please, if you would like either of them, either a bit more money than you currently have or a bit more time to do the things you love. Put a 1 in the chat. Let me just get a little bit of feedback. Like I say, please keep this engaging. It's really, really boring if it's just me shouting at you with loads of energy. I'd love to get a little bit of feedback. Put a 1 in the chat. Would you like more money? Would you like more freedom of your time? Is there any comments, Helen?
So while we're waiting for those ones to come in, we've got some comments. We've got Sarah Carter saying business owner. Victoria is saying she does network marketing and digital marketing. Glynis is here. She's saying hi. She has a side hustle and owns 2 other businesses. Always good to have an extra income stream. And then we have got Alma, who's saying she's really struggling with getting stuff done without waiting for motivation at the moment. Please help. We will come to that. But obviously, let's talk about what we've come to talk about first, and then we'll come to that if you want.
100%. Please do stay till the end and please ask any questions. I want to do as much Q&A as I can. I'm just seeing loads and loads and loads of 1s flying in. And I get it. Because this is, most people I speak to would like more money, more time freedom. One of the best ways that I personally know to do that is creating a sustainable, successful side hustle / business, right? That's from my years experience. Like I say, I'm now 14 plus years in running various businesses and 6 years is it now in coaching a lot of different business owners as well. This is something that I'm super, super passionate about. But like I say, the world has drastically changed. You know, when you've got all these people going, oh, I don't think that's going to make you money and that's a scam. People, when they think of business, and there was these old statistics. What was the statistic? Do you remember, Helen, about anyone let me know in the comment. What was the old statistics that you would always hear about? however many businesses fail in the first 3 years. Was it 80% fail in the first 3 years, something like that? Can I just be clear? That statistic is well and truly out of date, right? It's not true anymore. When we think about business, most of us think about this traditional business, which is like what I have, by the way. So I do understand both ends of the scales because I have both, which is a business where, like, this is not my home for those who don't know. In there, I've got offices. Through there, I've got dance studio. Through the other end, I've got another room where we have all our storage. This is very much a business premises that I'm working out of. So I understand the costs of keeping a place like this running. I have full-time staff. I pay them sick pay. I pay them bloody holiday pay. I pay tax. Like, I know traditional businesses, high overheads, high risk, high pressure, high responsibility. But now, over the last 10 years, and especially now with AI, there's so many ways of earning money from having a business that don't require any of that risk. And therefore, the barrier to entry is much lower, but also the chance of success is also much higher. And as I say, my passion is about helping people understand this. When we talk about marketing, the old school days of paying loads of money to get an advert in the newspaper or loads of money to go on billboards or television. Now you've got social media. You can get your message out there for free by asking people to share it. And look, I'm not saying it's easy, but come on, guys, put it in perspective. How many excuses are we going to make? It has never, ever been this easy. If you can just get the right mindset, get the right work ethic and the right support and accountability, you're off to the races. There are so many possibilities right now. So people talk about risks, and yes, equally, it's important that I caveat that. I'm not saying it isn't without risk. I'm not saying you aren't going to have calculated risks when you're starting your own business. But I think the biggest risk is putting your happiness, potential of freedom, potential of flexibility on the back burner because you want the safety and the comfort of a full-time wage, which, by the way, could be taken away from you at the drop of a hat should your employer go bust. All right. So I say that not to be crude or mean or nasty, but to put it in perspective. What is the biggest risk, really? Starting a bit of an online business from your bed, on your laptop. Is that really a big risk? Or is it staying with only one form of income from one employer? I think the biggest risks here is if you only have one stream of income. I think there's a big risk if you have not yet mastered and figured out how to utilize social media and how to build a personal brand. And if you've only got one job, I think that is the biggest risks. Okay. So yes, business is still tough. It's still challenging. I want to be realistic in my approach, but it has never been easier. And I think there's way less risk in an online business personally than just solely relying on traditional jobs and income. And I want to say this, look, don't get me wrong. There's always nuances and caveats to everything I say. But as a general rule, we've been brought up societally, I believe, to put traditional education and university way too high on a pedestal. That's not saying there isn't a place for it. That's not saying if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist that you absolutely need to go to university and get really qualified. But what I am saying is for the vast majority of people, they don't want that. They want to do stuff they love and they want to have freedom, flexibility, opportunity. They want to live life with as much fulfillment and choice as possible. And I'm saying stop putting universities and getting yourself 20 grand in debt to get a degree or whatever it is. I don't even know. I didn't even bloody go. I started my own business when I was 19 and everyone went to uni. I just think I want to encourage as many people as I can to recognize there is a very real, genuine opportunity out there to potentially earn way more and work way less hard and way smarter when we utilize side hustles using social media, online businesses and things like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about here. Oh shit, just name dropped my drink. Sorry about that. Helen, as well, you were just saying, I've been saying this to you for years and it bit you in the ass. Do you want to just share really briefly?
So Matt obviously I've been coached by Matt for 5 years and he always said to me, you need to start a side hustle. You need to do this, build a personal brand, do this, do that. 5 years, he banged that into my head. Did I do it? No. What happened? I got made redundant. And then I was like, oh no, what am I going to do now? So as much as I did not take that advice, I will come from a place of humble and say I should have took that advice, because had I have been building something on the side, I could have kept that job and been doing something a few hours a week at home in my spare time, and I would have had something to move across to. And instead you get that panic. And it wasn't just me at the time. If you remember, in Success School, I think there was 3 or 4 of us all at once within weeks of each other, all lost our jobs. Not ideal. So it's definitely something that can happen, and I definitely did not see that coming. Had I have seen that coming, I probably would have moved. But things happen, and things happen fast. So I would say, listen to the man.
Thanks, Helen. Humble pie and listen wisely. No, thank you for sharing that, because it is. I've been banging on about this for 5-6 years, and obviously different people, it will resonate at different times. But I really hope today this is going to resonate with people. The first thing that I want to speak about is getting clarity. And with clarity, please make a note of this if you're watching now. One of the most important muscles that you need and must master is self-awareness, right? Because everything I coach on sessions like this, it's generalized advice. It is your job, your responsibility to build the self-awareness muscle, to recognize where you fit into all of this. And what I'm saying by that is, from my experience, and I'm just going to be really brutal but honest, because I think it's what people need. Most of you are terrible at being self-aware. You are absolutely awful at really being able to see yourself from an outsider perspective, to know where are your strengths, where are your passions, what's your talent, what's your ability, what does the marketplace want, and marry that all up. Most of you are awful at it. So the first thing that I want to say to most of you is, there's no business development without self-development. And I really, really mean that. You need to get to understand your mindset, your behavioral patterns, your beliefs, your values, your limiting beliefs. You really, there's no more important skill, I don't believe, than becoming excellent at self-awareness. I think that will serve you well in relationships, friendships, with your partner, with your family. It will serve you well in every single area of your life, but no more so than business. So the first thing that I want to say, let me help you with this as well, because I don't ever want my message to get misinterpreted when we talk about side hustles and things like that. Let me be really, really clear. Some of you today absolutely should not start a side hustle, right? You shouldn't, for a number of reasons. Some, you just won't be good enough. But here's the most important, and this is how you figure out if you fall into that category or not. If you are struggling to eat, to live, to feed your children right now, you need money right now. And some of you do not have the talent, the ability, the brand awareness, the years skin in the game to make good money right now ethically. What you need to do is get a second or third job immediately and work whatever hours you have to work to be able to feed your children and yourself. Let me be really, really, really clear about that. Some of you just have to do what you have to do. The question you need to ask is, do I currently have enough money to survive? And I genuinely mean survive. Like, are you struggling like hell just to feed your children? If the answer is yes, my recommendation, my suggestion, my guidance is, do not build a side hustle. It's going to take you too long. You need money. You need cash flow now. You need enough money to get on top and save some so that you can invest in a side hustle. The question here is, are you just in a position where you can survive, you can get by, but you just want more money and it's just not ideal and you're not enjoying your job? If that is you, then yes, you should start building a side hustle. There's a lot of this notion online about, 6 figures in 6 months and all this, just the same as 6-pack in 6 weeks in the fitness industry. And it's all this get rich quick thing. It's nonsense. A 0.1 anomaly person might do it. The vast majority of us, you're going to have patience. You're going to have skin in the game. You're going to have to be consistent, and it's going to take time. And if you are struggling to feed your children, go get a second and third income from a job. If you have to go clean in the morning, full-time job throughout the day, and then have a third job on weekends or in the evening, my suggestion would be, do what you need to do to get cash in the bank first and foremost. Can we just get some love hearts? Is this making sense? Because I think that's the caveat that gets missed a lot of time. People listen to the Gary V's or whoever, and they hear these generalized advice, they follow it, and then they end up in a worse position. So I want to be clear with that. answer that question. Are you surviving right now? Is it just a case of you don't like the way you're making money? You would like more money, but you can have patience. You can take your time with it. That is the question to get clear on. Then when it comes to setting up your business, most people are like, I don't know what to do. Let me just break it down. Business is so simple in terms of getting clarity. You just need to understand, what do people want/need, right? And right now, it's no good if you watch a motivational podcast about someone who created a business in the 80s and then you try and copy it if it's not relevant to people today. So what do people want/need? And you need to be able to market in a way. This is going a bit deeper. This is something that I speak about when I'm coaching people. You need to be able to market in a way to what people want, but give them what they need. A lot of the times people need to lose body fat. They need to work hard in the gym. They don't want to. So if you market like that, they go, oh, I don't want to do that. And they don't buy from you. Make sense? So this is how we've got to think. We've got to know both the want and the need, and as best as possible, market in a way to their wants, deliver what they need. Okay. So the first thing is, what do people want/need right now? Second thing is, what am I actually good at? / what could I become good at? And then the third part is, what is going to actually move the needle the most for me personally? Because we've all got 101 ideas, sorry. And all these different amazing business ideas. But if you answer those three and be really clear, that's going to steer you in the right direction. Now, a lot of you, let me know in the comments, is anybody here that did Bulletproof Actor, which is a mindset course for actors that Ross Grant and myself and Petch delivered? We've delivered 2 intakes of this. One of the courses that we take, it's one of the courses that we take, and one of the modules we do in the course is on this exact thing. I'm just going to share one of the slides of one of the exercises that I teach people to help them really get to that sweet spot when they're figuring out what is their side hustle. Hopefully everybody can see that. So you got the 3 circles there. Let me know in the comments. Can everybody see the 3 circles? Let me know. But in terms of trying to figure out what it is, these are 3 really good questions to ask. What do I actually love? Because where possible, again, this is not a case of if you need more money right now. Like I say, my suggestion personally is you might just need to do some jobs you need to do in the short term to get the finances in a better position. Some of you, that's the advice you need today. Go away and work on that and then come back to this video. But if you're in a position where you're like, you know what, I am not in a great place financially, I'm not loving my job, but I can take time. You want to build a life around something you love, not just around something that makes you money. So that's the first question. What do you actually love? The second question is, what are you actually good at? Where does if you ask your friends, what would they say about you? What would they say your talents are? What would you say your natural ability is? Helen, if you was to ask your friends, people who know you the most, and they was to describe Helen's best talents, what she's good at, what do you think your friends would say?
Writing, communicating.
Definitely.
And probably organization and stuff like that.
There you go. So Helen can identify that. She needs to lean into those, right? So what do I love doing? If there's a crossover, you see the way this is designed is there has to be a crossover between what she loves and what she's good at. And then the third bit is which comes back to that question earlier about what do people want and need? What are people going to actually pay for? This is what you need to think about with your side hustles. And just some examples that we gave when we taught this. By all means, get a screenshot of this. Hang on, let me get myself out so you can take a picture. 3, 2, 1, take your picture. All right, that's it. So these are just some examples that we put down, but there's obviously loads more. But let's say the first category, you've got, what do I love? Animals. What am I good at? I'm good at walking. What will people pay for? Dog walking. That might sound silly. I had Hannah, who was amazing, who was one of the guest speakers at Success School, who started her dog walking company in the pandemic. I think it was dog walking combined with dog grooming, if I'm not mistaken. Started it pretty much on her own as a little bit of a side business. And I think it was year 2 or year 3, she did something like £360,000 in turnover. That's not profit. But again, starting as a small business, if you're doing £360,000 in 12 months, it's not bad in your first couple of years, right? Just from something as simple as taking the love of animals with the fact that she's got the ability to walk and saying, right, between the two, people will pay for dog grooming, dog walking. There's all these different examples here. Again, it's about trying to figure out what the ones are for you. We've got their computers. I love working on computers. I'm good at designing websites. I could do web design. I'm good at music. Sorry, I love music. I'm good at playing guitar. I could do online guitar lessons. Again, Ross and I spoke about when we was at a conference in America. We was in a line waiting to get into the event, and we just got chatting to someone. This guy had built this enormous, amazing online business doing exactly that, online guitar lessons. That's all he did, and he had a very, very profitable business. Arts and crafts might be what you love. You might be good at making candles. You could do custom-made candles. Fitness, you might love fitness. You might be good at being able to get in shape and motivate people. You could become a personal trainer. Guys, the list is endless. This is just here to get the brain ticking if some of you have been struggling to know what the thing is that you want to do. And just a third and final slide to share with you all from this course that Ross and I taught. There's so many websites now where it's all done for you. As it says here, you don't need to set up a side hustle necessarily straight away, but start thinking about these possible opportunities. And we just put here, for inspiration, be sure to check out the following websites. They will give you tons of ideas. So you can go on Etsy, Fiverr.com, Shopify, Teachable, eBay, Amazon.com. Just look at how are other people making money? And is there something in there that you would actually enjoy doing? Is there something in there that you actually think you could be pretty good at? So as I say, this first sort of tip that I want to give people is get clarity, but do so with self-awareness. So many people are just like, oh, I don't know, could I do that? And again, the thing I'm saying there about be self-aware about what's the reality of your situation right now. Are you in a position where you can build this over time and be able to still get by and live okay? Because I don't want to sell the dream, folks. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to genuinely help people. And actually, till you start being profitable, might be 18 months, might be 2 years, till you start making really good money, might be 5 years. But what's the alternative? Those years are going to pass by anyway. Wouldn't you rather be building something substantial that you have a level of control over, that you have passion and skill sets in? Something to consider. Helen, is there any questions yet or any comments? Please do, guys. Please, by all means, if there's something you want to ask about what we're covering, if there's something about your personal circumstances you want some advice on, obviously this is on social media. Obviously don't write anything that you don't want people to see, because it's not just us seeing it. Please do. I can see on Instagram. Yeah, we've got Carol saying makes perfect sense. We've got is it Abina, the actress, says, I have 2 jobs and perform on the side. I'm getting too old for this. Lol, need a passive income. Absolutely. Something to really look at now is reestablishing, readdressing where you're putting your time, how you're earning your money, and starting to build something perhaps a little bit more sustainable for the long term. Yeah, Gary saying he did the Bulletproof Factor. Caroline's did Bulletproof Factor. I was saying a side hustle looking after Dalmatians would be cool. By the way, I agree. You know, all sorts of ideas fly out when I'm talking nonsense. And Caroline says, yeah, went through this exercise one-to-one with you, Matt. Helped me so much get clarity. Brilliant. Carol said, I love baking, but didn't believe they were good enough to sell until you helped me see differently. Vida says, I got paid for a cake once. Wow, I need to get on it. 100%. I mean, Carol, like, look at where you are from just a few months ago since we did this kind of work. I mean, you're in business, you sold out at the event. You've now had Rate My Takeaways, Danny Merlin say they're absolutely banging. And you're now in talk with restaurants. I mean, it's unbelievable that you're going to potentially be supplying to. Absolutely amazing. Is there any other comments there, Helen, that we can
make? So Glynis has said no one expects to get made redundant. She's absolutely right, but I think that's the part where people become complacent, isn't it? Because we all think that won't happen to me. My job's secure, but not necessarily, as I learned the hard way. Glynis has said that she meets a lot of job seekers looking for work that come to her to look at her side hustle. But she's got to be honest with them and say, now's not the right time for you to do this.
Yeah.
And then Glynis has also said, those cakes were delicious. That's Carol's cakes. So, yeah. And I just want to add to that and say, like, obviously, being in Success School, looking at that list, and it's crazy to see how many of those things members of Success School are actually doing. Like, they've taken this inspiration, this, you know, this stuff's been talked about, and they've gone and done it, and it's working. And I think that's the thing, is when you can actually see it in action, which we are doing, in terms of people looking at what their skills and passions are, looking at what their talents are, and going, right, let's go and do it then, and giving it a go. And like Matt's just said about Carol, you know, brand new to it, it's just started doing it, and it's amazing, it's going really well. But not only that, she loves it, because it's what she loves doing.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got so many other people that have gone off into so many other different directions. We've got like social media influencers, people building personal brands there. There's people that's gone into coaching in all different forms of coaching, fitness, all the rest of it.
Jen with her art business.
Jen, yeah, exactly. I love
Caroline,
it.
who's on here with a videography editing business.
Yes.
Again, you know, it was merely an idea a matter of months ago.
Tracy Fisher with the travel agency, which is what she loves to do. It's, you know, it's endless. People have just gone, right, I'm going to take this on board and do it. And now they have all got businesses doing that.
Lynn being a VA as well.
Yes, yeah. And Tracy, yeah. It's just, it's
Tracy.
Matt Zena with his acting school.
I mean, incredible.
Yeah, and Emma, she's got her acting school as well.
Yeah. These are all normal people. And this is what makes me the most passionate, I guess, about what I do. I'm so tired of normal, talented, amazing people being made to feel like success isn't for them. And I think the key of everything at Success School has been about defining success and recognizing it doesn't have to be millions of pounds. You don't have to be the next Elon Musk or whatever. But guys, like, to earn an extra few £1,000s a month on your terms, doing something you're passionate about and you're good at, is very, very, very possible. The problem is traditional education and the system that we're just sort of born into doesn't really massively push this. So we don't feel it applies to us, which is why I've called it Success School, because it's not about traditional schooling. It's about recognizing there's much better ways of doing stuff now if you want to, and if you're willing to learn about it and put in the work. So as I say, there's one of the first tips I want to give people is it's about starting with clarity. Really get clear on who you are, what you want to do, what you have to offer, what people want, all that stuff. And I've given you there some exercises that are really worth going away and thinking about and working on. And then the second tip is become more valuable than you are now. Please recognize all business is about a fair exchange of value. And the more valuable you are, the more successful you can be. So it's so important to not just be sat resting on our laurels. Really recognize, how can you become a more valuable person? And I'm not just talking purely about skill sets in terms of like the service you offer, not just becoming brilliant at it, which you absolutely should be working on, but I'm also talking about how can you become a person that is an even better communicator, that is an even better leader, that has even more confidence. These are all skills that are valuable. The better you can become at sales, at marketing, at communication, at all these things, which a lot of it stems from the stuff we talk about, which is just self-development, working on yourself, understanding your strengths and weaknesses, learning the skill of outsourcing, delegation, all these things. But ultimately, the key is this: you need to consistently figure out how can you keep on growing in value. The more that you become valuable, the more you have value to give, the more value you get. That is just the way that it works. Remember this: you will get paid based on the value you bring to the table. So becoming more valuable is literally the key. Going back to what I said at the beginning, it's literally the key to earning more wealth, first and foremost, and therefore, secondly, creating more time freedom. Two of the biggest things that people say is, I want more money and I want more time freedom. You becoming worth more value to the marketplace is the key to getting more money and then being able to delegate and have more time freedom. So I cannot stress enough. Yes, that might mean new courses that you need to go on, new qualifications, new skill sets, but it's not just solely that. It's working on the person you are, being able to tolerate and manage higher levels of stress and pressure and problem solving and making quick decisions and leading teams, all those kind of things I'm referring to, makes you a higher value person. And when you're a higher value person, it goes around in circles. More value comes to you. Anything you want to add to that, Helen, or any questions?
Yeah, I think as well, like obviously networking and getting around the right people, because as you always say, your network is your net worth. And if you can get around the right people even before you start this stuff, A, you're building a potential client base and people to sell to, but B, you're also aligning yourself with people who are on the same page, and therefore you'll feel far more supported and far more understood.
Absolutely. It's something I cannot stress enough. And I think it can just go over people's heads when they hear that. And then you get to an event, and as we have done, and you're like, yes, this is it. And I think more as things go more and more online, which they have done and are doing, the more there's value in getting out in person as well. Because I think that's where you really strengthen and build those relationships, which then can continue to grow online secondary. I think there's a massive strength in that. All right, tip number 3, make time for your business. All right. Now, initially, you might only be able to have small pockets of time. It might be an hour in the morning, hour in the evening, bit of times on weekends. But please do not lie to yourself. I'm saying this to everybody. And obviously, there will be the odd exception to the rule. But I bet you, for the vast majority of you, even if you think you're an exception to the rule, if I really sat down and went through it with you, I bet most of you probably are. Please stop lying to yourself that you don't have time for this. If you took into consideration the amount of times thinking, overthinking, mindless scrolling, watching Netflix and films, talking about ideas of what you want to do, what you should do, what you might do. If you took all that and replaced with execution, get shit done, like that exercise I've just given you. Some of you, that's just what you need to do. Just go and figure out what it is. And a thing to add about that is, one of the things that stops people and slows people down is needing it to be perfect, because they think, oh my God, I'm going to start a business and it's going to be risky. What if it turns out to be the wrong business? Great. Tick that off. That's not right. How do you know? Why? Because you tried it. Move on. I cannot stress this enough. Learn through doing. Again, caveats to what I say. We want to have calculated risks. We're not talking about stupidity. But if you think there's something that, I talk about it with the 51% certainty that Barack Obama spoke about. Rather than waiting to be 80, 90, 100% certain that this is the business, this is going to be a success, I've planned every single step for the next 56 years, I know it's going to work. Rather than needing that level of certainty, if you could just be 51% certain that out of the current ideas and options available to you, this might work, learn through trying it, figure it out fast, realize it's wrong fast, and then through that experience, try something else. I cannot stress that enough. Whatever business you set up, it doesn't have to be a success. I mean, give me an example of anyone whose first business they set up was a success. If you read any biographies or listen to any podcasts about people who've been successful, they usually talk about their 58 failures first. And it was through those failures they learned how to be successful. So please remove this pressure to get it perfect. Yes, Alma, too many people talking about talking, thinking about talking, thinking about thinking, and then talking about talking. Just do stuff. I cannot, and again, what Helen was referring to there, get around people that are going to inspire, that are going to support, that are going to encourage, that are going to, that are actually the doers, the action takers, not just the naysayers and the bitching and the moaning and the whining and the can't do that, that's risky, I wouldn't try that. The people who have actually done stuff and are doing stuff are going to help you be more likely to take that action. So anyway, the tip that I'm saying here, number 3, is make time for your business and don't convince yourself you haven't got time. You might not have a lot of time, but again, if you fill that time with action rather than just procrastination, which most of us are doing, and we call it research. Oh, I'm just researching. You're not, you're procrastinating. Shut up. Get on with stuff. Try stuff. Go on Instagram now. Put a poll on your story. Would anybody be interested in this? Get some market research, feedback. Don't just read and watch someone else running a business. Do something. Learn through doing. Make time for it. Tip number 4 even, is to stagger your approach. Treat it like a business, not just a hobby, right? So and I want to be clear, I don't want you to plan everything to nth degree. I don't want every single micro decision to be planned out for 106 years. I don't want that. But have a general plan with little milestone goals along the way. So what I'm talking about is, for example, in 6 months, I want to be earning X amount. This is just an example. 6 months, I want to earn X amount so that I'm able to take 1 day off work a week. And then 6 months after that, I'm going to go part-time. Give yourself little goals along the way that you can work towards to start. I'm not all about just burn the bridges and just go all in and leave your job tomorrow. I don't think that is useful for most people. For some small percent, it might work. For most of you, we need to take a sustainable, sensible approach where you are able to test and try and adapt and evolve it slowly so that you start to move away from full-time employment if that is what you want to look to do. So, but have a plan with that. Sit down, figure it out, think what your plan is as a business. And I also say, like, be building a financial buffer so that you know, should you be made redundant or whatever and now need to go all in on the business, know that you've made enough money or saved enough money to be able to invest in your business for 3 to 6 months, but also maybe be able to live for 3 to 6 months alongside it. Be building that up. So look, I'm not all about just be mindless and just start a business and it's so easy. I don't believe in that. I do believe it's easier than most people think when they're getting the right information and the right support and the right accountability. But I do think also things do take time. Have a bit of a plan with it, stagger it out, and eventually you go from maybe taking a day off work a week to maybe part-time to maybe going full-time on your business. Like I say, should that be what you want? Anything to add, Helen, or any comments?
We've had a comment from Matt Zena. Well, we've had a couple. First of all, he said, "Good evening from Cairo." So we're in Egypt.
Woohoo! Love it. We've gone worldwide. Thanks, Matt.
We've gone global. And secondly, he said, "If you ever watch Netflix, you have time."
100%. Absolutely. Could not agree. And look, I'm all about there's times in your life where you want to have balance, you want to do that, that's fine. But not if you really want to see a substantial change with your finances and your time. You want to have more time freedom. I've yet to see a story of somebody who's been successful that did so with just perfect balance and took it nice and easy. They put in the work. They made quote unquote choices / sacrifices to make the change. And they didn't make the excuses. Okay, I think this is number 5. One of the biggest things I could talk about all day. So I'm just going to try and keep this short. If you're not already building an online personal brand, that worries me a lot, because people buy from people they know, they like, and they trust. And life is sales. Everything in life is about you're either selling yourself or you're being sold to. So getting good at selling and knowing that people buy from people they know, like, and trust, and then understanding we've got this beautiful access to the internet, which 50 years ago would have been like, you have that in your hand right now. And through just doing a video, a voice note, a picture, whatever, you can communicate your message with, even if it's just, some people are like, oh, I only got 20 likes. That's 20 people engaging. Well, I only got 100 people watch my reel. That's 100 people you haven't paid to get in front of where you can share your message. So I think it's really important. Remove the need for vanity metrics and vanity likes. Get rid of that. Understand that it's so important to build a solid personal brand. Even if you don't fully know exactly what your business is going to be, it's still a fantastic tool, because it's an opportunity to get yourself out there, to practice, to build a community, build an audience, get your personality, your values, your beliefs out there. And you'll, as they say, it's a little bit cheesy, don't like saying it, but it's true. You'll find your tribe. People will love you, people will hate you, and that's cool. But in business, we don't need to be loved by everybody. McDonald's is a pretty successful business. A lot of people think it's literally child abuse, giving your children, paying to get burgers and chips that are, not the most nutritiously great food. A lot of people hate McDonald's. There's a lot of incredible businesses that provide food with meat, and there's a lot of vegans that don't like businesses that have meat. Like, understand that in business, it's not your job to be liked, loved by absolutely everybody. It's about being clear about who you are, conveying that to the world, and then the people can decide. Some will love, some will hate you. It's not personal, it's business by definition. I've been building my social media brand, if you like. This was probably like 16, 17 when we started on Facebook, then we went to Instagram. And this is what I'm saying about you don't need to have the whole plan figured out. I didn't know at 16 I wanted to do what I'm doing now. What I wanted to do at the time is just perform and do bits of acting. So I just documented and showcased what I was doing. Some people are like, oh my God, you're a great actor. Some people are like, oh, I saw you on Heartbeat. I've seen you on The Royal. I've seen you on these credits and these shows and these things that I did. And people are just like, oh, I like Matt, he's a good actor. Then I got into a Take That tribute band when I was 17. Audiences came to that. Oh, now I know him for that. Others knew me from the acting. We got this combined audience. Then when I set up my podcast, my business, when I was 19, some people like, I've been watching him for a while. I like him. I like it, what he's about. Some people probably thought I was a dick. That's fine too. But some people like what I'm about. Then they're getting married. We need a tribute act. Oh, we'll go to Matt's company. So as I evolved, every step of the way, the fact that I had a social media presence, getting myself out there, I made money every step of the way. I then went to start my podcast. I got listeners to listen to the podcast. I then started my coaching. Some of them became like, there's some people that have been on this journey since I was an actor that now are paying clients. Some people that have been know about me because of my Take That tribute that now are paying clients through my Success School stuff. So even though I wasn't a coach or doing coaching stuff there now, because people buy from people they know, they like and trust, my visibility online step by step has always paid me in business. So if you're not already serious about building a social media platform where you're utilizing it as a tool rather than just using it as somewhere to just vent or whatever, and you're not being proactive in how you show up, I really think you're missing a massive, massive trick. But also, as you grow on there, remember social media is not just about like constantly just trying to get people to give you money. The best advice I can give you is give genuine value. Like what I'm doing with these lives, I do for two reasons. One, because not everybody can afford to work with me. And it's nice to be able to know that I can genuinely help people regardless of their financial situation, as long as they're on socials. But two, it gives people a try before they buy, an idea of who I am, what I stand for, what I know, what I'm able to give to people. And then a small percent of a large audience will start to work with me because I'm giving genuine value up front. One of the biggest things that I say to all my clients is stop being scared to give everything away for free. People pay for implementation, not information. So I can give you all this information knowing full well 95% of you will not act on it. And then once you've tried alone, you'll go, who taught me the information? Matt. Maybe I should speak to Matt about actually him holding me accountable, supporting me, giving me one-to-one information. It's just the psychology of how this works. And I'm sharing that for free. Most of you will have that ego and that stubbornness. Oh, I'll just set up my business on my own. Eventually, you'll find it's quite tough and you'll go, I need some support. And some of you will go, maybe I'll get the support from Matt because he inspired me and I think he knows what he's talking about. Maybe he doesn't. I'll find out. But this is what I'm saying. Anybody building a business on social media, give everything away from free. Hold nothing back. Hold nothing back. People don't pay for information. You can go on Google. It's all there for free. They pay for implementation. They pay for inspiration. If you can work with them, this is just an example of what I do with coaching. If you can actually support them, hold them accountable, inspire them daily, they'll all pay for that, even though the answers I've already given them for free on this video. Anything you want to add, Helen?
Yeah, I think in terms of personal brand, I don't know, did you see the post that Stephen Bartlett put up yesterday about being your own PR? It was really resonated with this, what you're talking about now. Not exactly the same, but basically what he was saying was you're not being judged on all the stuff that you're kind of like showing off and all that kind of stuff when you're even just in everyday life, but more from the little things that people see and pick up on. And I think that's massive with, like you said, your personal brand on social media, where actually that's where people get to know you and they get to see you, they get to see your values, they get to see your lifestyle, they get to see. And the more that you can build that, the more likely it is that somebody that aligns with you is going to come along and become a customer. And 100%. I think that is huge. And not only that, but even away from that, he was talking about his employees and he was saying like, things get back to me, my staff don't even know about. You know, somebody will have done something and then I'll promote that person. And they have no idea that this little tiny thing that they did played into that. And I think that's huge too, in terms of you never know who's watching. And if you can be showing up every day in the way that you want to be showing up online, you know, who knows what opportunities are going to come your way? Who knows who you're going to align with? Who knows? You know, if I didn't have social media, you probably wouldn't know half the stuff you know about me, because even though you've coached me, it's by seeing what I post that you see like, oh, she's actually doing it. She's actually putting this stuff into place.
I can't like sing it louder, Helen, because it's so true. And I think like for everybody watching this right now, if you are starting a side hustle or you are building an online presence, please, it comes back to what I said earlier, Stop worrying about how many likes and validations you're getting. Like, we know for ourselves, some of our views on some of these live videos haven't been great. But then in the last, 10 days, we've had 7 new signups.
Yeah.
I've had 3 new people work with me one-to-one in 10 days. That equates to hundreds of pounds. Well, actually over £1,000 of brand new business in the last 10 days just from doing this. Now, if we were, I did a post about it recently, if we were just going to worry about likes and things like that, you'd see a post of me in a nice restaurant that's heavily filtered, hundreds of likes. Post of Holly and I think we need nearly on like 700 likes on Instagram. Then I put out a reel trying to give value. You know, this live right now, yes, we're multi-streaming across loads of different platforms. We're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn, we're on 2 Facebook platforms, we're on Instagram. I can see Instagram here. You know, on Instagram, we've only got 15 people watching right now. When I put some of the reels out, I might get 10 likes, 30 likes, something like that. Forget focusing on vanity metrics. Give genuine value, because you just don't know the amount of, and I've spoke to many people about this, the amount of times where people inquire or, you know, want to know more about your services and then pay you a lot of money. And you say, oh, like, what made you go with that? Oh, I've been watching you for 6 years, right? So they're buying into you, even if they're not physically buying from you right now. You've got to keep showing up. You've got to have the right mindset. You've got to stay consistent with it. Last couple of tips. Next one is build a team as early as possible. Now, I know for a lot of you, this will put the fear of God up you. I get it. Now, I'm not saying everybody can pay people initially, but then that's about being creative in how you can ask for help without it costing you financially. That's its whole different story. But what I would say from my experience, and Helen, you're a great new example of this, you will grow so much faster when you outsource, when you stop being fearful. Let me just be clear now. If you genuinely want to build a side hustle into a sustainable and successful business that can really give you back time freedom, you will be held back years trying to do it alone. The sooner, and again, let me be clear, I'm not saying everybody can pay for people initially, but the sooner you can get support and help, the sooner you can outsource, the sooner you can get PAs, VAs, videographers, editors, web designers, coaches, mentors. You just literally, if you get the right people, are going to skyrocket your success in a fraction of the time getting it wrong and figuring it out yourself. So be creative about that. Think about that. But if you genuinely want to leave full-time employment, what you don't want to do is swap full-time employment to be even busier, working even longer in a job that doesn't pay you anything. Because let me just tell you now, I've done that myself with my business, where you work way longer hours. You do a job that you would never sign up for. You do 18-hour days, 7 days a week, and there's no money at the end of it. Nobody wants to do that. Now, caveat, there might be the odd time where you just have to. That's how business goes sometimes. And it's the short-term paying for the long-term gain. But the sooner you can smartly start to build a team and bring people on, the sooner you can start to transition out of that. Again, as with everything, I cannot say it loud enough. There's caveats. You need the right people. I've made a lot of mistakes hiring the wrong people, and then you have to let them go, and that costs you a lot in getting it wrong. But how do you learn who the right people are? Sometimes by getting it wrong. That's how you learn. Oh, I didn't spot that. I'll spot that next time. So again, even that's not all lost. But I would say that, you know, the sooner you can grow a team, the better. Final one, play the long game, have patience. This is why I said right at the beginning of this, if you are struggling to just pay your bills right now, potentially it's not the right time for you to start a side hustle. You just need to get cash injection, and it's going to be much easier to just go and get a second or third job. Play the long game. And I always say, see it in steps of a longer picture. If this is your goal to have this thriving business or whatever it is, break it down and go, what's the first step with that? Tony Robbins speaks about the quote that most people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can achieve in 10. In other words, people think, oh my God, I need to change everything. I'm sick of this life. I'm going to go all in on a business. I'm going to make millions. I'm going to do 10K a month. Blah, 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 blah. This is my year. Stop. Most of you, it absolutely is not going to happen. For most of you, till you start being profitable, might be 6 years. But if you remain consistent, if you don't deviate, if you have the right mindset, the attitude, the work ethic, and the support and the accountability, and you just stick with it, and get good at what you're doing, you absolutely can make a really, really strong, successful, sustainable business. The problem is most people are too busy on their pity potty feeling sorry for themselves. Oh, I'm doing a job I hate. Life's hard. I've got all these different things, and now I've started a side hustle and nobody cares about my content. I'm getting no likes. Nobody's sharing it. Nobody's supporting me. Nobody's buying from me. Oh, this is shit. Poor me, and they quit. I know that because I've had the same feelings and thoughts, and everybody I've ever spoken to has had the same feelings and thoughts. You can't change the reality. That is how it is. But guys, if you just stick with it for long enough and you continue to adapt, to evolve, to grow, to get the right help, to get the right support, you absolutely can build this business. I'm absolutely adamant. The only reason people can't is they don't believe enough in it, and they don't believe enough in themselves. They don't invest in themselves. They don't get the support, and they just dip their toe. They try it for a little bit. It's really, really tough because it can be, and then they just admit defeat and quit. So the final tip is look at this as a long-term investment. I cannot stress enough, as with anything in life, there's a great quote that I've heard Stephen Bartlett saying, I don't know if it's his or someone else's, but he says, the slow way is the fast way. The slow way is the fastest way because there is no fast way. Get rich quick, overnight success does not exist. So anytime you try and speed up the results by trying to take a shortcut, you're probably going to end up then having to take 3 steps back to then start building it the slow way. Do it in a sustainable, steady way. Don't try and chase that shiny penny syndrome, as they say, and go, oh, but that looks like a quick way of making money. I'll quit what I've been doing for 6 months and now I'll try that and I'll do that. Oh, it's not working. That looks shiny. I'll go over there. Just stick at it for long enough. And again, comes back to what I was saying earlier, self-awareness. Most of you are terrible. Most of you are awful at self-awareness, and it's one of the best skills you need to grow and you need to develop. You must work on. Because when you can become self-aware, recognize your strengths, your weaknesses, be able to make decisions fast, pivot, adapt, evolve where necessary, but also keep going forward and not deviate where necessary, that is where you're going to make such better decisions and you're going to grow. Most people don't have the self-awareness. They don't know themselves truly. They don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they can offer to the world. They don't know their weaknesses. They don't know their strengths. And they just make terrible decisions based on what someone on Instagram said. Right? So it all comes back to the biggest thing that I'm an advocate of, which is working on personal development, understanding your triggers, your behavioral patterns, understanding your mindset, your beliefs, your limiting beliefs, really getting to know yourself is one of the most important investments. I've done pieces of content before about investing, and I always say the first thing to invest in is you. There's no more important investment. There's no point figuring out what to do with money if you don't have the emotional capacity to deal with money. You need to work on you. And I just want to say, we're going to do some Q&A if anybody's interested. So please do put questions in. But also, would anyone be interested in me doing a full step-by-step training on this? Because this is something I'm toying with bringing out in a few months. If someone, based on what I've done, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a multimillionaire. I need to be really clear and really honest. What I am is somebody who's had a traditional kind of business since I was 19. And in the last 5-6 years has been making money consistently online through starting this kind of side hustle type business, through doing a membership, through doing courses, one-to-one services online. If you want me to go through step by step what I do, what I know, what I've learned now, I should have done better, how I could have had more success quicker, what I'm now doing, would you like a full training on this step by step? Because look, if there's no demand for it, if nobody cares, I ain't gonna do it. But if people are genuinely like, Matt, yeah, I need more help with this, I need more support, and you don't have the money to pay for it, I'll do a free training on this. Also, if you're ready to get to work and you want my help, drop me a DM right away. I don't know what's happening. Something's in the air at the moment, Helen, but I am almost at capacity for the next 2 months now with one-to-one coaching. So if you want one-to-one support, whether that's a one-off call or you want to do a 4-week coaching package, message me immediately, because I'm almost about to say that's me done for a few months and you'll miss the opportunity. Obviously, you can still join our Success School membership, which is the more group community way of working. But if you want my one-to-one support, you must message me immediately if you want help on any of this. So just let me know on the DMs if you are interested in any of the services. But equally, just let me know if you want me to do that free session where I go through all of this. What I'm going to do is please use this time now. Has anyone got any questions? Maybe you've started a side hustle and you've got some challenges or some struggles, or you're in business. I can see that Alma's put my main Instagram got hacked. Sorry, let me just be clear. Let me finish that sentence, Matt. Come on, please use this opportunity now. Put some questions in the comment box. I would love to be able to help some of you today if you ask the questions. I think most value, I can go through some stuff I've thought through before this call. The best value will come from interaction with you. So please ask me questions if you're happy to, and I'll help. But what I was going to say is I can see Alma's question there. is my main Instagram got hacked, which is so annoying. I had 1,000+ followers. Instagram said I would get it back, but it's been months and I still don't have it back. Not sure if I should start a new one. The answer, Alma, is 1,000,000,000%. The answer also is, would have been a wise idea to have had a second backup one anyway. Rather than waiting months to get your other back, you might have had 1,000 followers on this new one by now and you might be on par rather than starting from scratch. So very clearly, yes, start yesterday. Don't wait for things out of your control, because this would have been time that you could have been building your audience again from scratch. And with respect, and I mean this respect, we've all got to start somewhere. 1,000 people is nothing in the grand scheme of what's possible. Yeah. So put in your potential business, and I don't know the full ins and outs, but I'm giving this as general advice to everyone. Put in your potential business on hold for a few months, because you had 1,000 people when you could have maybe over the last few months, maybe built 10,000 if you'd have been consistently getting yourself out there, rather than waiting for this one, and I mean this with respect, I know it doesn't sound it, but this measly 1,000 people in a world where there's what, 8 billion is it now? What are we on? Like, there are billions of people, hundreds of millions of people, and we're not putting ourselves out there because we're waiting a few months for 1,000. So that would be my advice to everybody, is get going with it. Please put in more questions. I'm going to answer any questions as best as I can if you put it in the question now. What I'm going to do just before that, though, is only a minute long, just over a minute. I am so excited. This is potentially one of the best guests we've had at Success School on the podcast. I'm going to announce this is an exclusive here, coming out this Wednesday. Nobody's seen this yet, absolutely nobody. I'm joined by Paul Mort. Some of you will know who he is. It's such a harrowing story. I just want to say, like, he is talking about themes of where he went to end his life, basically. So if that's going to be something that's upsetting, go away for like a minute and then we'll come back. I'm just going to play the trailer now. This is the trailer for this Wednesday's episode. This is such a valuable, powerful, incredible episode. Check it out.
The day you went to kill yourself.
Holy shit, man. She said she almost let me kill myself because she hated seeing me in pain so much. You just need to talk to someone, in my opinion, is not that accurate. People aren't depressed because they don't talk. People aren't suicidal because they don't talk. Yeah, I was talking about it all the time. I told my wife I was going to do it. You avoid discomfort, you end up uncomfortable anyway. You can seek out discomfort and challenge that inspires you. Goals, targets, missions, scary. Or you will attract, by fucking default, discomfort that drains you. So many of us tell our kids they can be anything they want while being in a job that they hate. Blame self-doubt, they blame confidence, but what the reality is, they're addicted to certainty, predictability, the known rather than the unknown. That's why people stay in jobs that they hate. Because it's familiar, at least they know it.
And relationships.
Exactly, relationships are even worse because it's known. At least they know how miserable they are.
We know we hate each other.
Set that goal when I was 21 of £1 million. I thought it would feel very different to this, and it didn't. It was like I'd climbed up a ladder, sacrificed friendships, the relationship with my parents, sacrificed my physical health because I was also 5 stone overweight, sacrificed my mental health, almost sacrificed my marriage. And then when I got to the top of the ladder, I realised it was against the wrong building.
God, he's gone there.
I did just say that. No, I didn't. Yeah, let's delete that bit.
Yeah, there is a bit of humour in there as well. He's a very, very funny guy, but such a powerful story. It was just like every line he said, I was like, that is golden. Everybody needs to hear that. Everybody needs to hear that. So guys, please put that in your diary. This Wednesday, the day after tomorrow, at the time of recording, our next episode of Success School is released. That is available to everybody, whether you are a member of the membership or not. That will be available on YouTube. It will be on Spotify, and it will be on Apple. Just type in Success School Matt Hall on any of those platforms and we'll come up. Make sure, if you haven't, please do subscribe and get ready. It's about 1 hour 20. It's a real in-depth episode, and it was an absolute privilege to get to speak with Paul and get to share his journey. And I think it's going to really help a lot of people. So do make sure you don't miss that one. All right, guys, let's go through some questions. Who have we got? Have you got any there for me, Helen?
Got some comments for you, yeah. So Glynis has said, I wish I'd met you 10 years ago just for that one comment. What she's referring to there was when he was talking about like not doing it alone and scaling up. And she said, guilty of always trying to do everything myself, but I'm failing my way to success slowly.
Totally get that. And me too. Not that I wish I'd have met me, but when I started my company, I was 19. I don't think there really, or if there wasn't many, there wasn't really this thing of business coaches and mentors online that you could hire and things like that. And I made so many mistakes. And it was just that thing of you only know what you know, and you've only got your close circle. And my family have been absolutely incredible, and I'm so grateful to them. But none of them have built successful businesses. So they did everything they could. They gave me love, they gave me support, like anything they could to help me. But with the best will of the world, my dad was a firefighter and my mum a mobile hairdresser. So they had not run a company like I'd run. They'd not built a social media company or used, an online business, should I say. None of my friends had. Nobody in my close circle had. So I was literally just figuring it out by making every mistake going for about 6 or 7 years. And I just think, wow, imagine if in year 1, I just hired a coach that had already been building, businesses for years. It would have I can't imagine where I'd be today. I cannot imagine, but it is what it is. And what I say to people now is if you have the opportunity, take it. Absolutely get the help, get the support. Is there any others there, Helen, questions?
Yeah, so Lynn's joined us. She's been busy, but she's been able to join us. She's saying yes to the training. She would love to do that, which I think speaks volumes, given that she's a member of our community and she knows how good your training is and she really wants it. And also, we've got another comment from Alma, who it's the question she asked at the beginning. Actually, she's reposted it. Thanks very much for doing that. She's saying, been really struggling with getting stuff done without waiting for motivation at the moment. Please help.
Yeah. So, what I would say is, we all have fluctuating motivation. We have to recognize that sometimes, and this comes back to the self-awareness, is why I said, it sounds horrible. I'm like, so many of you are just terrible at self-awareness. You need to do more self-work. That's the first thing. Sometimes you're not motivated because you need to rest. Other times you need to just work regardless of motivation. That's the harsh truth. But there's a bit further we can go on that, and we can start to analyze why we're not motivated. So come back to your reason for pursuing the thing that you lack motivation in and ask, is it a deep enough reason? Is it truly aligned with who you are? Are you going after the right things for the right reasons? Is the motivation low because this is hard? But if you can just persevere, is the potential reward worth perseverance? Or is the motivation hard because not just because it's hard, but also because even if you achieve it, it's not really worth it. Really important things to come back to. There's no kind of one size fits all. It's going to be, the answer that I would give is going to be bespoke to each individual. That's how we're going to get to it. It's going to be about asking different questions to really dig deep and find the answer. But there's a few things there. And if you want to do any follow-up questions, please do. We've got a few minutes before we finish. So please do. But it's really about reflecting on those questions. Why is motivation low? Why is it?
Just to chip in there as well with my little input, I would say as well, it can often be, or I find personally, a momentum thing. And it's just about sometimes getting started, just taking that first step. I think when you're just procrastinating and you're just not doing anything, it's very easy to continue not doing anything, where we just go, well, all right, I'm just going to do one small part of it. Sometimes that's enough to just kickstart that momentum and just do it a little bit, like we've talked about before, the compound effect.
Yeah.
That just kickstarting that momentum somehow, one tiny thing, and then on to the next and on to the next. And instead of looking at it as like, this is so hard, this is so much, it's tinier little steps and you get there.
Absolutely hit the nail on the head. When you know that I've coached, don't you, about the subject specifically of procrastination. And we're not procrastinating over doing the work. We're actually procrastinating about just getting started. And it's that whole thing of, oh God, we're looking at the bigger picture of, there's so much to do. But actually, if you just got started, you just did something. You just maybe said, I'm just going to commit to 10 minutes work. That's not overwhelming. That's not stressful. I can do 10 minutes. Anyone can do 10 minutes. What you do in that 10 minutes is create a sense of momentum, a sense of achievement, a sense of progressions. And you're likely to do 20 minutes, maybe even 30. So if you can just find ways to just get started, do that on repeat. But I would say it's also about having support. Have you got people supporting you? Have you got accountability? People holding you accountable? And have you got inspiration? Have you got other people around you who are doing what you need to do or similar things, who are action takers? Because there's no shame in saying it's easy when you're not doing it alone, right? We have this kind of ego thing that it's like, oh, I must just plow on my own. No, get support, get help, get accountability. Nobody is self-made. And I will say this over and over again, as I do, there's no such thing as self-made. Anybody who ever achieved anything substantial at a high level did so because they had a team of support, and that comes in various different forms. So that's just something else to add. Any other questions at your end, Helen? Then we'll come over to Instagram.
No, you can go over to Instagram now.
So we've got, Tortoise of the hair, slow and steady wins the race. Slow way is the fast way. Absolutely. Gary's saying, wait, can you talk through having a backup Instagram? Yeah, I would say, look, you don't need to do it initially, because like when you first start an Instagram, you might only have like 300 people. So then to have a second account with 20 people, it doesn't really matter, does it? What's the point? But when you start getting to maybe 1,000 or near 1,000, so it might be worth growing a second backup account. So like for me, I've got my Matt Hall Instagram. I think we're on about 17.5 thousand followers. And then I've got my Success School Instagram with about 3,000 or 4,000. So that's something that's been built alongside it. I've got my main account that's obviously doing considerably better. But then if I lose that overnight, I'm not starting from zero. I've already got an account with nearly 4,000 followers on. So hopefully that makes sense, Gary. Oh, wow, he's amazing. Yeah, that's people talk about Paul Moore. Honestly, guys, get ready for Wednesday. It's such a powerful conversation. Hi there, we've got KB. Is it Pet Business Coach? Says, would you say that social media is more for nurturing clients rather than selling? I know you can do both. Some are saying to focus on nurturing. Yeah, so 100%, I would say you can do both, but nurturing is 100% the thing. You're not going to use social media to do the hard sell. Social media is an opportunity for you to give value in exchange for people then start to warm to you, know what you're about, like you, trust you. So 100%, this is the place where you build those connections, you build that awareness, you give people the opportunity to listen, to observe what you're doing. And then bit by bit, every now and then, you're going to do the hard sell. You're gonna say, this is the product and service that I have. You know, maybe you've got a deal on or whatever it may be. Most of the time, you're just looking for, how can I give value? How can I connect with my audience in a way that resonates with them, that grows that relationship with them? That is the purpose of social media. And I always said, look, there's a lot of bad rep about social media. I've always said, use the internet, don't let it use you. You know, if you're just constantly consuming all the time, then social media can, if what you're consuming isn't great, can become a negative place. But if you are creating, it can become a great place to build those relationships, deepen those connections, and eventually lead to customers and clients. I hope that makes sense. So yes, it's for both, but 100% I would lead with value and nurturing. Jay says it needs to align with your values and who you are as a purpose. Yeah, I think, is that about I think that might be regards to motivation being low, I think. Tracy says, queen of procrastination here. That's great advice, Helen. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Hey, Tiff says, totally agree. I've started setting small goals around my writing to make it sustainable. Absolutely amazing. Carol says, I've discovered a part of my business that will potentially make really good money, but I remember why I don't advertise it. I hate, so I feel like I need to lose that part of it. What do you think? Right, I need to read that again because I've not understood. I've discovered a part of my business that will potentially make money, really good money, but I remember why I don't advertise it. I hate, so I feel like I need to lose that part of it. What do you think? Does that make sense to you, Helen?
I think there must be a word missing. Maybe I hate it, and that's why I don't. I feel like there's something missing there, because the context.
Oh yeah. So if it's just like it doesn't align with you, you hate it, you don't want to do it, then yeah, potentially, if you don't need the money, if you don't need that extra custom, then you're in a position where it's about doing what's aligned and playing the long game. That's what I would always say. Generally speaking, and this is why I said again at the beginning about not everyone should start a side hustle straight away. You probably just need money, because when you're starting a business or putting products and services out into the marketplace just because you need money or you just want money fast, It's where you can start doing things that A, you're not as good at, B, you don't want to do, and C, it's not ethical. Like you're just doing stuff for money. So I think there is a lot to be said for following the long game, playing the long game, should I say, following the passion, what is aligned, what do you actually believe you're good at, what do you actually want to be doing 10 years from now, what do you want to be known for? But then in short term, you sometimes have to do shit you don't want to do. Again, self-awareness is key. That's why I'm saying if you're desperate for money, if you're struggling to feed your children, just get a job. Just get a couple of jobs, get 3 jobs, and just get the money in first. And then bit by bit, when you can, save the money, and then maybe start to, instead of doing 3 jobs, do 2. And with that extra time that was doing the 3rd job, then start to slowly, sustainably grow a side hustle. Anything from you, Helen?
No, I've just put in the chat any questions, use and abuse us. So, I mean, I'm sorry about that because God knows what's going to come our way now.
I'm all for it, but we are going to have to go shortly anyway, guys. So what I do want to say is thank you so much, every single one of you that has been here, that has engaged, that has asked questions. And I really, really hope you found this useful. Would you do me a favor and just let me know in the comments, has this been useful? Is there anything that it's made you realize, anything that you've now got to think about? Just give us a little bit of feedback because it's always useful. We're going to be committed to doing more of these live videos over the coming weeks. And we do use your feedback to help inform us on what is needed, you know, where people are at and things like that. So please do let us know. Also, just a reminder, if you haven't already joined our membership, please give it a try if you think it could help you. It's completely free to join for 2 weeks, and then it's only £4 something a week after having the free trial for 2 weeks. And you can cancel at any time. So you can technically cancel before your free trial is up, and then literally users and abusers and not even pay a penny if you want to do that. But our next live coaching call is actually tomorrow night at 7 p.m. and we're going to be working on mindset tomorrow. So if that is something you want to get involved with, do sign up. If you've any questions, drop them to either myself or to Helen. We'd love to welcome new members. As we were saying earlier, we've had a lot of new signups just in this last week or so, haven't we?
Yeah.
So there's a really lovely atmosphere at the moment, isn't there?
I was just going to say that. I feel like it's a really good time for people to join because we all have that thing, don't we, where we're like, I don't want to join. I don't want to be the new person. I feel really uncomfortable. And it's like, well, now there's loads of new people that have all joined in the last few days. So if that's you, this is a great time to join because you can be like the new people. There's lots of them right now. So,
and also one thing I'm really proud of with our community is even people like yourself that have been there for 5 years plus, there's just no ego. Like there's such a range of people in there. There's some people who are really successful in different ways. And when you come and you are that newbie, as you're saying there, everybody's just like, welcome. It's great to have you here. There's no like, oh, you're the newbies. Well, I've been here 5 years. There's like, you do get that in a lot of places, but I think the culture collectively that we've created as a group is just the polar opposite. So please don't be shy. No, that was going to sound awful. I was going to say, please don't be shy. Give us a try. And I didn't mean for it to sound like that, but I could just hear it. That's why I stopped myself. But genuinely do, because it's free to join us. And as I said, our next Zoom coaching call is tomorrow. And I always say as well, if you are the sort of person who just feels like you're going around in circles, that you just have highs and lows, but no real leaps forward, I always say that what can help is looking for those edges. Like, where can you get the edge? And I think accountability makes you usually do a bit more than you would on your own. But also, there's 2 key points in the year where people generally societally slow down. One is now, summer. People are on holiday, people are off work, kids are off school. And the other is Christmas time. It's generally those 2 times a year when most people and everyone around you is doing the same thing generally. So your momentum and your motivation will be a lot lower, which is why I say come and join us, because we are not taking our foot off the gas. We are still full steam ahead. That's going to give you the edge. If you normally go a bit slower at this time of year and around Christmas, but this year you do it a bit different. And I'm not saying you've got to go crazy. I'm not saying you can't still have a holiday and have a rest. You should from time to time. But if you can still keep on top of some basics that normally you might neglect at this time of year, that is absolutely going to, bridge that gap and mean you get that edge. So I would say for that reason, now is a time to get involved with us more than ever. Thanks, because he said Elmer's saying, yeah, it's been useful. I can see Julie saying, I can confirm the group is very welcoming. I joined last September after taking the 2-week trial. Such a great supportive group. Bless you, Julie. I honestly love Julie to pieces. So
And Lynn's commented as well saying she can't wait. She's only missed 2 calls in 2 years. She had FOMO. The calls are so good.
the fact that she never, ever, ever missed a call, and then it just so happened she missed 2 in a row, like consecutively. I was like, this doesn't feel right. I was like, where's Lynn? I was like, I don't feel like I can do this session. It feels weird. But yeah, get caught up, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7, hopefully. Surely you're not going to miss 3 in a row. Yeah, I can see, oh, bless Tracy Owens say, we've got Abida saying it's inspiring. A lot of people saying want to do the training. It's been useful. Thank you so much. I can see then Carol's buzzing in Success School right now. Tracy says we don't bite. It's a lovely, welcoming community. Carrie says it's a great place. I only joined this year. Tortoise and Hair, you really want to join Success School, but from the 3rd of August. Oh, sorry. I imagine that is. But from the 3rd of August, I'm away for 2 weeks, so I'd miss a lot. Would it be better to join after? Yeah, not you. I mean, there's no right or wrong. What I would say is it's absolutely cheap as chips. I've tried to make it as affordable as possible. It's less than a £5 a week, like less than. I mean, if you just think on that holiday, like what can you actually get for a £5? Like it's a £5. You can literally throw it in the sea for the laugh. I mean, obviously that might be a little bit insensitive. I'm not saying everybody can do that, but if you think about what you get back value-wise when you get 2 weeks free and then less than £5 a week, what I would say is you don't go till the 3rd of August. You got 2 weeks before then to really get stuck in. And maybe when you go on holiday, like this is, I will share this just briefly. We spoke about this the other day. One of the most beneficial things to the trajectory of my life, we said it was like a sliding doors moment, didn't we? The thing that got me to listen to a podcast for the first time, started that catalyst of inspiration about maybe I could do something like that one day, then led to all of this community meeting. Helen, all the people I've helped and worked with, started on a holiday. It started on a holiday in January 2015. And what I was going to say is if you have 2 weeks starting to immerse yourself into this content and learning and being part of the community and checking in, when you go on that holiday, your mindset might be a little bit different. And you might, when you then have that time to de-stress, unwind, and just chill and set your mind free, new ideas might come to you that might not have done had you not have started this journey. So there's a good couple of weeks before you go. You could get something great out of it. It might just inform your holiday a little bit different. And then when you come back, who knows what's next? I don't know. Like I say, it's a personal choice. But I would just say, look, if you join now, you can be with us for 6 weeks. 6 weeks of content. Everything we do in there is recorded and uploaded to your membership area. You got 6 weeks for less than £20.
Yeah.
I literally went to a hotel on Friday. I bought 2 drinks. 2 bastard drinks. 2 fucking drinks, right? The 2 measly, tiny little drinks were done within a few minutes. It was £24.
Ooh.
2 bastard drinks. You get 6 weeks for less than that. Just to put it into perspective, like what's a cost of coffee now? A large cost of coffee, £6. I mean, at the service, like a monster from the service station's like £2.40 or something. Like, yeah, put it in perspective and then weigh it up. But that's just some things to consider. Like I say, you do what's right for you. We'd love to have you in there now. We'd love to welcome you. We'd love to see you tomorrow night on the call and in the WhatsApp group. And who knows, we might just be able to get some stuff going. You go away, chill. Who knows what comes to you? And then we'll see you when you get back. And all in all, you won't have even spent £20. Anything you want to add, Helen?
No, I just think I'm with you on that one. I think like it's the kind of like I will start the diet Monday thing. Why? Like just start now. Like that is literally the mindset that I have come to have now. It's like, do you know what I mean? If it's something you want to do, then just start. Like start now. You'll be 2 weeks further along then.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? And again, it's not a hard sell. I don't make enough money to need to do a hard sell. Like it's just I've made this the most accessible, affordable membership I possibly can. But with that, I'm still aiming to give the value as if you are in a community where you're paying hundreds, if not thousands of pounds. That is the deal here, what I'm trying to do, because I just believe the stuff I've learned, the stuff I know needs to be more affordable, needs to be more accessible to the masses. So take the opportunity or don't, is what I say to people. It is there for you either way. I can see they've said, okay, I'm doing it, arm twisted. Amazing. Well, come and join us. And the link is in my bio on Insta right now. Helen, have you got the link there to add on Facebook? And I think
I've posted it on Facebook. I will post it again.
if you put it in the comments on Insta, does it work as a hyperlink? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but I'll go over and do it on your Instagram. Just see if it works. If not, it's in your bio anyway, isn't it? So.
I see Julie's put in the words of Nike, just do it. Yeah, it is in the bio. If not, or just drop us a DM straight away after this call and we can send you the link directly to you. But anybody who's on the fence, give it a go. It's free to join. It is literally going to cost you nothing. It'll take you about 60 seconds or maybe 90 seconds tops to create an account. Just to be clear, when you create an account, it will ask for your bank details, but that just means you've started a proper membership with us. After the 2 weeks free trial ends, it will then start to take £19 per month, which, as I say, works out something like £4.70 a week, something like that. But if you cancel before the 14 days, you will not be charged a penny. It just means when you sign up now, you're in the system properly. You're properly ready to stay with us long term if you want to. There's no obligations, or you can cancel at any time. You can see there, people saying yes, Steffi. Gary said you also get the recordings to watch anytime. That's absolutely right, mate. Thank you for sharing. Tracy's saying yes. Nathan's here. Hope you're well, mate. Hope all is good. Has anyone got any last questions? I've literally got a few minutes before we go, so please ask questions. Anything at all, whether it be about motivation, procrastination, side hustles, business, knowing what to do, gaining clarity. Do use this opportunity. And I also just want to remind you, if you haven't seen already, I'll be live again just over an hour and a half's time at 7 p.m. this evening. This time I'm going to be joined by relationships expert Dimple Thakra. Dimple is an expert that we've had as a guest speaker in Success School a couple of times now. She's somebody who's really, really helped me learn an awful lot when it comes to relationships. So tonight we're going to be doing a Q&A style live where we'll be answering questions around your challenges with dating, your challenges with relationships, but also learning about self-love and self-acceptance, because the most important relationship you're going to have is the one with yourself. And that does, of course, set the foundation for every other relationship in your life. So that is going to be tonight's topic, where Dimple and I are going to chat all things about that and answer any questions. So do feel free to join us again at 7 p.m. tonight. But if anyone's got any questions now, just before we go, stick them in the chat and we'll just spend a couple of minutes now. And just to say again, thank you so much, every single one of you that has spent some time with us on these lives. I really appreciate it. Appreciate the feedback as well. If you are on Facebook, if you could do us a massive favor, please do share this live video if you think it's been useful and if there's been some gems in there that more people need to hear. As I've always said with these lives and all the work I'm doing and Helen's doing with Success School, the mission is to help as many people as we can live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives. It's a big mission. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy. So just the simple thing of sharing this and maybe putting a little caption behind why you think people need to take note of this video. In doing so, you help us help other people start to help themselves. And between us, we're creating this positive ripple effect in a world that is so full of negativity and competition and putting people down and judgment. Starting this ripple effect of actually helping people, get the perspective, get the inspiration, get the education they need to genuinely live a happier, a healthier, a more fulfilling life. I can see Julie said, yeah, Dimple is amazing, well worth listening to. Thanks, Julie. Hope you can make it at 7. See Tiff saying thank you both. Carol saying thank you, Matt and Helen. Thank you, and Lynn as well saying thanks, Matt and Helen. Anything else at your end, Helen, or anything you want to add just before we finish?
No, Lynn's just made me laugh because she said, yes, she'll be there. She means the next coaching call. And then she's put a 1 in the chat. I think she's having withdrawal from putting 1 in the chat at the end of the coaching call.
Does that mean you've got a question? Because that's obviously our protocol on the live Zooms in it. If you've got a question, though, Lynn, just ask it. We've got literally 60 seconds or so if you want us to hang on. If you have got a question, that's cool.
She has. I think she's just being funny.
Tracy says, thanks, Matt and Helen, as well on Instagram. All right, if Lynn's just having a bit of a laugh with us, we'll leave it there. But guys, thank you so much. I really hope you found this useful. Don't forget, if you're interested in one-to-one coaching, I'm nearly at full capacity now, aren't I? So just drop me a message ASAP if you are serious about that, and I'll get back to you. If you want to join the membership, the link is either on Facebook in the comments or on my bio and Insta, or again, just drop us a message and we can send it to you. And if you have any questions about anything, just drop us a message and we'll get back to you. Thank you as always. We appreciate you all. We're back now. We're not doing one tomorrow, are we? Is it Wednesday? We're back on one of these?
Thursday and Friday now.
Thursday and Friday, that's right, yeah. Thursday we will be back. And Thursday we're going to be talking all things confidence, a really important subject. So hope to see you then Thursday at 4 p.m. But until then, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you tonight at 7, if not tomorrow on the members call at 7. But thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Are you ready, Helen?
The wave.
The wave, the wave. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon. Keep waving.